How's it going, people, and welcome to the Supporters Club, a brand new show right here on AFTV, hosted by myself, Turkish, and today I have with me Kelechi, Robbie and Lee Judges, very well-known Arsenal fans and good friends of mine. What we're going to discuss today is, what do we prioritise as Arsenal fans? The Premier League or the Europa League? Let's start with Kelechi.
Both. You have a very big squad, people need to play, so prioritise both.
What about this? Okay, what competition do you play the Stars in? Better question, innit?
Better question. Sit on the fence, innit?
No. You play
Get off the fence,
play the Stars, but now he started to play on the fence. I'm sitting on the fence, but he's been the one saying, "Oh, Ozil is playing in the Europa League. It used to happen before." So that's what we're saying. Let them play in all the competitions.
No, but you said which one would you prioritise?
Both.
Okay, let me change it up. February comes, yeah? February comes.
Yeah.
We're still close, thereabouts in the top four. We might even be in top four. We're in Europa League. February, Europa League restarts again. Which one do you prioritise then?
I want to do the double.
So you just want both?
Both. My brother, is Smith-Rowe not good enough to play in the Europa League? He's good enough to play in the Europa League. Is Welbeck not good enough? He's not good enough. Don't play.
But when it comes to the teams, let's say Inter Milan or Tottenham go into it, or Man City get into it. Can you be playing Welbeck and Emil Smith-Rowe against them?
That's why you still play your big. That's why he's saying. I mean, I agree with him from previous episodes of saying Ozil is not playing in the Europa League. Those stars are playing the Europa League, whether they are starting or not. We will still go with the infantry.
So
if the initial squad they are doing it, you send back up, and we win the game. So both, yeah.
Both, Rob. Let's have a side from you this time. No fence sitting.
Fence, man, fence. He's always on the fence, man. Trust me. Our priority is the Premier League, right? And the reason being is, I like the fact that he's playing strong teams in the Europa League. I like the fact that he's not giving people days off in the Europa League. I love that. But for me, and I know there's a lot of people out there saying, it's all about this year getting back into the Champions League.
Exactly.
Me, right? I know there's a lot of people saying, oh, it's easier to do it through the Europa League. I don't strictly agree.
I don't agree.
Because look at last year. To me, the Europa League is a rubbish competition, right? And the reason why...
I don't agree with you. You're disrespecting the Europa League.
I'm going to give you...
This is the reason why we might not even win it.
I'm going to give you my reasons why I think it's a rubbish competition. The reason why it's a rubbish competition is that what competition allows teams that have failed in another competition to drop into it?
Totally agree.
Agree with that.
That's what makes it rubbish, not the actual...
Competition.
So you don't know... At this stage, we don't know. You can't, if you was to look at the competition as a whole now, maybe you could say, right, you know what? If we really go for this and put our strongest team in, week out, I feel with those teams that's in there that we could win this. But supposing like last year, Atletico Madrid drops into it.
We should have won Atletico Madrid. Man, then we're 10 men down.
No, but you're all of a sudden, you're up against a different caliber of team. You've got Griezmann, you've got Diego Costa, we hadn't come up against teams like that throughout the competition.
This competition's for Europe's second tier.
Yeah, and we were beating all of those teams from the second tier. Despite us having a poor season last year, we were beating all of them. We beat AC Milan. Was it 4-0? I can't remember. Four we put past them, yeah? We tore apart everybody in that competition until all of a sudden, Athletic. So suppose this year, if you say, right, we're going to concentrate on the Europa League, supposing at the last minute in drops, I don't know, Real Madrid. It's a possibility. Atletico dropped into it.
As far as in
drops PSG, or in drops, you know, you don't know who's going to drop into this competition. Some of those Champions League groups this year as well are tough, hard to call. You're going to get some big teams drop into it. So to me, prioritise the league, prioritise getting into the top four. That's what we got to do. If you get into that top four, I think this season, looking at the league, Tottenham are vulnerable, Manchester United are vulnerable. I think those two teams are vulnerable. You know, there's three teams that are ahead of us. Chelsea, I don't think they're miles ahead of us, but they're ahead of us. Liverpool and City, I look at it and I say they're quite a way ahead of us. But there's an opening to get into that top four. I think that's what we should be prioritising. I think that's what we should be going after. Yes, we still play strong teams in the Europa League. We obviously try and win that as well, like you said. But the main thing is the league for me.
Yeah.
Got to go for that league.
Lee, what do you think?
when you say prioritising, what are you saying, like top 4 or
yeah, like
title?
what Rob said. I think all of us want
'cause at the
Champions League
moment
football.
we're only
but
2 points
Top
off
4,
of it.
do our best in the league.
So if come February we're say 2-3 points off of the title, like top teams and all that, then I think that forget the Europa League, because you can go for the title, and if you miss out on that, the compensation is you're going to be in the top 4 in it. You know what I mean? So for me, I think it's got to be prioritising the league to get as high as we possibly can, whether that be 4th, 3rd. I think that's the best. I think, if I'll be honest, that's the best we can look to get. And then you've got the safety net of the Europa League,
just in case.
Just in case.
What would you have? If I asked you the same question before the start of the season, what would you have said? Top 4 or Europa League?
I think top 4 to me is a massive priority. A club like Arsenal, and I'm not being disrespectful to any other, Arsenal is a Champions League club.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we should be at least in the Champions League challenging for it. I'm not saying win it, but we should be in it. And the fact of the matter is that we're not, and by hook or by crook we've got to get back into that. And I do feel that I also think at this moment in time, even now, I think we should be prioritising the Premier League, because I feel that we've got, with our squad, we should, with the players we've got playing our second string player, not second string, but because he's not using that no more, but a squad, we could qualify for this through this group stages with a first team or a second team, as far as I'm concerned. So, but Emery's using the whole squad over the two platforms, if you like, and doing it really well. But for me, I think it's essential that Arsenal get in the top 4. Yeah. Essential, and I believe that that has got to be the case. And I do think that come February, if we're in with that chance, that they might you could actually see him sacrifice it.
See, before the season, the way I saw it is what you said about a club like Arsenal, we should be top 4. I agree with that, and where that comes from is, obviously we're fans of the club, but where that comes from is, as a brand, as a name, our history determines that we should be a top 4 club. That's what you meant.
Yeah, I do. Like going back in the 80s, we wasn't. We was a Europa League, a Europa Cup team.
Yeah, so obviously over that time.
But over that time and the way that it's evolved, it is very. I think that like Manchester City, before all the money come in, Manchester City had got to one cup final in my lifetime that I can remember, and that was in 1981. Was it against Spurs? Yeah. Right. They've never ever challenged for a title. Never been nowhere near it. You know what I mean? All of a sudden they've got the money that they've got coming from wherever, and they're now a challenging side. The same with Chelsea. You can look back at Chelsea. We went through the tunnel when you've done that walk, Robbie. You know what I mean? 1950 was the last time they won the title, and then Abramovich come along, and then they've won title. So they weren't in the equation. As a club, Arsenal were a brand, with Liverpool, Manchester United, Everton and Tottenham were the big 5 challenging for it now. So, so along that lines, we've got to overcome Manchester United, Liverpool, Manchester City and Chelsea to get into the top 4. You know what I mean? And it's very, very difficult to do that. Spurs, to be fair, as much as I don't like it, have punched above their weight to get into it in the last couple of seasons. You would expect them to realistically not be in it. You know what I mean? For that. So it's going to be difficult. I think that Manchester United, with all the problems that they've got at this moment in time, we've got a chance to benefit from that and get as many points as we can in front of them before it all blows up again, which I think it will do. So it is it's a tough arse to get into the top 4 now. To be honest, I've just got to say, under Arsene Wenger and the years gone by, it was mocked. Everybody used to take the mick out of us, our top 4 and all that. Now, it's perceived as a fantastic thing.
Yeah. Well,
now that we're not in it, do you know what I mean?
Can't it be looked at both ways? Because I do agree with you. You look at Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United, as a brand, as a club, history term, we should be in top 4. But then Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City and Man United, they spend like they should be top 4, whereas Arsenal and Tottenham don't. And before this season began, that's how I would have looked at it. Arsenal and Tottenham, we haven't spent like we should if we want to break top 4.
Yeah.
Chelsea, United, Liverpool and City, they always spend like they should to get top 4. So Arsenal and Tottenham would be the outside. I hoped for Mourinho to fail in his 3rd season, which is he's continuing that trend right now. Hopefully it continues. And that's given me a much more hope for top 4. If you asked me before the season started, I probably would have said we need to win Europa League to get into the Champions League. But looking at it now, I think we can get top 4.
The feel good factor is taking us everywhere.
Form and confidence goes a long way.
Exactly. So that's why you people keep counting 9 games unbeaten, because you people are putting the Europa League inside. You understand? That means that we can challenge for the 2 of them. There's nothing wrong. My brother, when you're going for exam, you did GCSE, you did your degree. Do you just read for 1 question? My brother, you read for 2, 3 questions, you understand? And you attack the questions to get the highest score. I mean, that's the way I see it, you understand?
You don't do the 2 exams at the same time.
Not the 2 exam questions. The same paper. You don't read for 1, you read for 2, 3, you understand? Yeah. Brightening up the topic. My brother, we can go for it.
No, the way I see it, you know what, I get what you're saying.
As far as the medical team, they are doing their work. Players are fit, recovering very quickly. Why not?
Keep up the consistency.
That is their work.
Europa
My work
League.
is to travel and support them. Their work is to play week in, week out. 3 times.
You cannot predict a Europa League. That's for me. You can't.
You're right.
You can say you prioritise, but in a cup competition, you can't predict because you don't know who you're going to get. You can say, right, we're going to prioritise we'll set aside the Premier League and go for the Europa League. And as I said, you could get PSG.
Yeah.
No, I think you get a dodgy decision or something like that.
Yeah,
sending off or something like that.
You could get PSG in the next when you get out of the group. And them other teams drop in, you could get.
You're not talking like an Arsenal fan with confidence. You're not. We cannot win PSG. Who is PSG?
Is it the PSG right now?
Is it not Thomas Tuchel? Who is Tuchel? What is this coaching? My brother, leave that.
They do have Neymar. They do have
PSG. What's their name? Liverpool were turning like.
Yeah, but that's the first game of the thing.
But Liverpool been doing this to us though for years.
So what you're saying to me, Kelechi, is that if we come up against PSG in the Europa League, you're confident we'll win?
No, there is hope.
No, there's hope.
There's hope.
Neymar and Mbappe against Mustafi and Bellerin and these people.
Well in England. Just give him enough goal margin. Go to the down leg and do justice.
The flip side of it is the Europa League does give you a trophy.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that.
Look, 2 trophies when you go to the Super Cup. It gives you 2, my brother. Who doesn't want to win 2 trophies in space of how many weeks?
It
is always nice to win a trophy, isn't it?
Yes,
it's nice to win a trophy, but I just think it's too hard to
call. I agree.
To call a cup because, as I said last year, I thought
we're not even favourites at the minute to win it, are we? Because Chelsea are.
Chelsea are favourites, but I thought last year when you look at it, we done brilliantly in that competition.
Yeah.
Right. But where all of a sudden when we got
Atletico
in the semi-finals,
we was out, weren't we?
It drops
out.
out.
We should have won in the first league in that. I know we missed a lot of chances, but
but it's a different calibre of competition you come up against.
Right, you can't assume.
Right, basically a Champions League team, and that's why I said right from the beginning I don't rate that competition because I just think it's the most ridiculous competition that rewards failure to Champions League teams, all based on trying to get money in and revenue to have. Because it was ridiculous to me last year.
It's rewarding failure because, my brother, I'll still give you an example.
It's rewarding failure.
A kid drops from a top set to a bottom set. Are you saying that they are rewarding failure?
So all these school analogies.
I have to give you an analogy. You understand? We have to play it in real life. You understand?
No, it's rewarding failure. You got a team. No. It's Kelechi. You've got a team in Atletico Madrid who got knocked out of the Champions League. They actually, I think, lost to. The same team that we played the other day.
Then they
lost to that Karabakh, didn't they? Or they drew with Karabakh twice.
Went out,
right? They got knocked out of the Champions League.
Then spend money in January.
You get a second chance. A second chance to have another bite at a competition that if you win that competition, you get back into the Champions League. How can that be right? Once you've been knocked out, you come third in your group. You should be, that's it, you're done. You're out. You're out of all competition. You don't lose in the FA Cup and then you drop into the League Cup, do you? You're out. That's it, you're done. Finished, boom.
And the thing is with Atletico Madrid, that we took on a different side to the side that was playing in the Champions League because by January they got Costa. They didn't have him before. So it was an unlevel playing field. Now, what happens is with the teams that drop down in the Champions League again now, come January, we'll better spend a bit of money, that Champions League money that we've got, to strengthen us up to try and go back in it again. So it becomes an unfair playing field. And
they've had the money from the Champions League.
So last season we played a different Atletico Madrid to the one that we would have beaten that Atletico Madrid in the group stages, but when it comes to the Europa League, there was a completely different animal. and we'll have that again this time around.
Compare that to when Man United won it. They had a very, very easy run in that competition. Then when they got to the final, they played Ajax, team full of kids, really.
Yeah.
Right? So, they had it so much more easier than us.
And that's
Who knows, if we wouldn't have had Atletico and we'd have got to the final and played Marseille, I would have fancied us to win that.
Definitely, but Atletico is one of the top 5 teams in Europe over the last 5 years. How are we playing them, one of the best teams in Europe?
How's that a fair competition?
In the Europa League, it doesn't mean. You know what? Think about what you said. We can't really judge it until we get to February because it's a formality that we get through the group stages.
Yeah,
we get through easy.
Standard.
So when it gets to February, when it gets to December, we know who drops out from the Champions
Listen, if you can't get first or second in that group, right, then there's something wrong.
There's a big issue.
There's a big issue.
You don't belong there.
So with the squad that we've got, we get it first or second. Does it really matter if we get seeded? Because not really. The teams dropping down get seeded. So for me, you're dead right. We've got to really prioritise on the Premier League, get as many points as we can, try and, at this moment, in fact, try and cement a place.
Yeah.
And the Premier League, do well in the Premier League is good for the morale of the whole us moving forward because winning games away from home is good for morale. But if we'd have won that Europa League last year, it still wouldn't really have papered over the cracks.
No, I agree.
Because we'd had such a bad season in the Premier League, especially away from home. The fans would have been like, "Oh, it's great we won that." However,
example, Mourinho United. All the United fans were talking rubbish them time, saying we're back. He's got us in the Champions League. He just papered over the cracks in his first year, and now look, 2 years later, they're none the better.
You've got to do well in the league. Do well in the league. I think if we do well in the league, get into the top 4, lift the morale back of that team and the players, then of course you're in the top 4. You can go out there and you can start buying better players and try and push on to try and have a go at actually winning the league. But for me, the priority this season's got to be the top 4
and that's
in the Premier League.
It's a fantastic point Robbie's making there about league form as well, because don't forget we got to the League Cup final last season. But everybody says it's a disastrous season because of what happened in the Premier League and the league.
Yeah, because we got to the League Cup final.
Got to the League Cup final.
And we got to the semi-finals of the Europa League.
But it was still a disastrous league because everybody, in it is dead right what he's saying. It's because of the Premier League.
So we got to those later stages. Does it mean that we're prioritising those competitions?
Not necessarily.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
But
what are you saying? I don't understand what you're saying.
You have to confuse your enemies.
I think when you go listen, when we went into the League Cup, we got kind draws on that.
Yeah.
It does help if you get kind draws. We got that, but I totally agree with what Robbie says there. The feel-good factor. Everything comes down to the Premier League. I was getting sick and tired of going away to Premier League grounds and getting beaten.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like now, we've won at 3 games away from home. All right, Cardiff, Fulham, and remind me the other one. Newcastle.
Where we lost last year.
Teams that we're expected to win, but we've gone and lost to them teams before. So all of a sudden, because we've got those results, the feel-good factor is coming about, and that is down to the Premier League. And because week in, week in, that's where it is.
Yeah.
Bread and butter,
man.
and that's what it's all about. And I do believe, prioritise it or not, but if you've got the momentum and you keep winning games, that should take you through.
No, I agree. So you're saying top 4 over Europa League League?
Listen, I'd love to win a title, but I think for where we are now, and as a football club we are, I think it's more important than a trophy, if I'm going to be honest, is to get back into that top 4.
Your enemies are going to seize on this comment.
No, but I think at this moment in time, I think where we are. You know what I mean? I'd love to. Don't get me wrong. We're not talking the FA Cup here. You know what I mean? When that comes around, I want us to do well in that, and obviously the League Cup. You know what I mean? I still want us to be winning games. But I think for a club, if someone turned around to me and said, "Look, this season you're going to get top 4, but you ain't going to win no titles," I would take that this season. Yeah. I'm not saying I'll take that the following season or whatever. I'm saying, but at this moment in time, we need Champions League football.
I agree with that as well.
Yeah.
For me, if this season, I'm the same. I want to win a trophy. I'd love to win the Europa League. Love it, especially the fact that Emery's won it 3 times before. I think it'd be brilliant. However, for me, the priority has to be getting back into the Champions League, through the league, having a good season in the league, going to a couple of those big teams maybe away to a Liverpool, a Man United, or a Man City, and winning.
Yeah.
That for me, the feel-good factor from that would be better than like what would have happened last year, where we had a terrible season in the league and possibly could have won the Europa League.
Yeah.
People would still be, then when the next season start back, there'd be loads of doubts. Oh yeah, but we got a City, we ain't got no chance. So, because that basically last season when we were going away from home, that was Arsenal fans.
Yeah.
Even at little clubs, even when we went to Newcastle, the fans were we ain't gonna win today, Robbie. I used to hear that all the time. It was depressing.
That was the life of an Arsenal fan last year.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
it's not good enough, innit? A big club, you know what I mean? Listen, everybody knows you can go to any Premier League team, the smallest teams or whatever, and lose.
Yeah.
Yeah? But when you're rocking up at Huddersfield and them places, right, and you're speaking to fans and you're going, what do you reckon today? I'll take a draw. Take a draw at Huddersfield. That's what it came down to last season, right? And to me, we've got to start lifting that, getting away from that and getting back to where we should be. Where when we go to Huddersfield, we're like, yeah, this is supposed to be 3 points today. And if Huddersfield turn up and play a blinding game, we hold our hands up and say, you know what, fair play to them, they had a good game today.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
normally we go to them places and obliterate those teams. That's where I want to get us back to. And Europa League.
I'm really looking forward to going to one of the big teams away from home now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't think off the back of what I'm thinking is probably Man City is our next one. I'm not too sure, like, you know what I mean? But that's probably Man United. Was it Man United?
Man United coming up soon, yeah.
Shouldn't have said that, should I? but I feel that when we come against Man United, I think it's the beginning of December, I think just after the back of the Spurs game, I feel that I'm looking forward to that game, where I've been dreading those sort of games.
Yeah.
Now, I agree with both of you. To be honest, we get I'd prefer top 4 because the message it sends out to the league.
You're supposed to be neutral.
Why? What do you mean? If I take this off, it's an Arsenal shirt underneath it.
The only neutral person is you. You're still on the fence.
Yeah.
No, but if we get the top 4, like, it sends a message out to others. In essence, Arsenal are coming back. The mentality, the confidence it'll give our team would be greater than winning the Europa League, in my opinion. And I just wanted to go before Kelechi because I'm going to pin you down right now. Do you want 5th and a Europa League, or do you want top 4 and no Europa League? Just out of them two.
What did this guy say? Have they sent you?
Just answer that. What would you prefer?
question.
Top 4 and no Europa League, or 5th in the league and you win the Europa League, or we win the Europa League?
My brother, see, I'm still
Answer the
Come on, Kelechi.
My brother, this question is unfair. It's very unfair. It's very unfair. No comment. No comment.
The thing is, I'll tell you what, I'll answer that question. If it goes as it is at the moment, right, and it's touch and go, because there are 6 teams in that Premier League, really, there, and we give it a real good go, and we come 5th, right?
5th in Europa
But
League.
then we go and win the Europa League.
And we'll go to
We're still in the Champions League.
Yes.
So I'll be happy. I would be happy with
Yes,
that.
I'll be happy. Yeah, thank you very much for helping me. Yes, I don't understand your question. That's
See,
the
you were
answer.
sitting on the fence so much.
You
you
make
didn't
your
even
choice,
realise
yeah?
that there was a little opening there for you.
There was
you
a
know
little
what I mean?
opening. But that's what I would say. Look, right, you know, we've gone for it, and we've been not quite good enough. But then we go and win the Europa League. Then it's happy days because we're still in the Champions League that way. But you know what I mean? I would like to, you know, cement it. Look, for me, if I had a choice, I'd like to get into the top 4 and win the FA Cup because I feel like the FA Cup as a fan is more important to me than the Europa League.
I agree with that. But you know what? It seems like we're all obviously a bit divided there, a bit on the fence. But you know what? Thanks for everyone coming down. Lee, Robbie, Kelechi.
Thank you.
I appreciate
really
your time. You've been watching the Supporters Club, obviously the brand new show right here on AFTV, hosted by myself. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, retweet, Insta that, do all of that. And we'll see you next time.